Before the calendar changes, ask yourself one difficult question. If nothing about me changes, why should I expect my life to change? Time never creates a better person on its own. It only reveals who was willing to grow while everyone else waited. Every year, millions of people promise themselves that they will become stronger, wiser, healthier, and more disciplined. Yet most remain exactly where they started, because they focused on changing circumstances instead of changing themselves. Self-discipline is the foundation upon which every meaningful achievement is built. Many people believe success begins with talent, intelligence, or luck, but those qualities lose their value without the ability to stay consistent. Every goal, whether it involves improving your health, building a career, strengthening relationships, or finding inner peace, depends on your willingness to do what is necessary, even when you do not feel like doing it. The greatest obstacle is rarely the difficulty of the task itself. It is the voice inside your mind that constantly seeks comfort, delay, and excuses. Learning to recognize that voice without obeying, it is one of the most powerful skills you can develop before 2027. Discipline begins with the promises you make to yourself. Every time you decide to wake up early, but choose to stay in bed, you weaken your trust in yourself. Every time you plan to exercise, but convince yourself to skip one day, your mind learns that your commitments are optional. On the other hand, every small promise you keep strengthens your confidence. It tells your mind that your words have meaning. This quiet trust becomes the foundation of lasting self-respect, because confidence does not come from speaking about what you will do. It comes from proving, again and again, that your actions match your intentions. Many people wait for motivation before taking action, but motivation is unpredictable. Some mornings you wake up full of energy, while other days everything feels difficult. If your progress depends on your emotions, your progress will always be inconsistent. Discipline teaches you to move regardless of how you feel. It reminds you that feelings change, but responsibilities remain. The ability to continue when excitement disappears is what separates those who achieve lasting results from those who repeatedly start over. Excuses often disguise themselves as reasonable thoughts. You tell yourself you will begin tomorrow because today is too busy. You promise to study later because you are tired. You delay important work because you believe you will perform better when you feel more inspired. Days become weeks, and weeks become months. The opportunity is rarely stolen by someone else. More often, it is quietly given away through repeated postponement. Every excuse may seem harmless in the moment, but together they create a habit of avoiding discomfort. And discomfort is where growth always begins. Discipline also means learning to enjoy the process instead of becoming obsessed with immediate results. Many people quit because they expect dramatic change within a short period of time. They exercise for 1 week and become discouraged when they do not see visible transformation. They read a few pages of a book and expect instant wisdom. Real growth happens beneath the surface, long before it becomes visible. Just as a tree develops deep roots before it grows tall, your habits are quietly shaping your future every day. The work you repeat consistently is preparing you for opportunities you cannot yet see. Another important part of self-discipline is protecting your environment from unnecessary distractions. Your attention is valuable, and countless things compete for it every hour. Endless scrolling, meaningless entertainment, and constant notifications slowly weaken your ability to focus. A distracted mind struggles to complete even simple tasks because it has become accustomed to seeking instant stimulation. Discipline requires creating spaces where your mind can work without interruption. Sometimes the strongest decision is not adding another productive habit, but removing one unnecessary distraction that steals your time and energy. Consistency is far more powerful than intensity. You do not need to transform your life overnight. Small actions repeated every single day create remarkable results over time. Reading 10 pages every day is more effective than reading an entire book once every few months. Exercising regularly, even for a short period, creates greater strength than occasional bursts of extreme effort. Saving a little money consistently builds stability more effectively than waiting for the perfect opportunity. Discipline grows through repetition, not through dramatic moments. There will be days when progress feels invisible and your efforts seem unnoticed. Those moments are often the most important because they reveal whether you are working for external praise or for internal growth. A disciplined person continues even when nobody is watching, applauding, or recognizing the effort. They understand that true transformation happens in private long before it is visible in public. Every quiet decision to stay committed is shaping a stronger identity, teaching the mind that persistence matters more than temporary comfort, and replacing old habits of hesitation with a steady pattern of purposeful action. Your mind is the place where every victory begins and every defeat first takes shape. Before your actions create results in the outside world, your thoughts create beliefs within you. If your mind is filled with fear, doubt, anger, and endless worry, those thoughts will quietly influence every decision you make. Many people spend years trying to change their circumstances while ignoring the patterns of thinking that continue producing the same outcomes. Before 27 arrives, one of the greatest improvements you can make is learning to master your own mind instead of allowing it to control you. The human mind naturally seeks comfort and safety. It often imagines the worst possible outcome, not because it wants you to fail, but because it is trying to protect you from disappointment. The problem is that this protective instinct can become a prison. You begin to overthink every opportunity. You hesitate before taking action. You avoid challenges because your imagination convinces you that failure is certain. In reality, most of the problems you fear never happen, yet the emotional weight of those imagined situations steals your confidence long before life has the chance to test you. Learning to recognize this pattern allows you to separate reality from unnecessary fear. Overthinking is one of the greatest enemies of progress. It creates the illusion of productivity while keeping you completely still. Instead of making a decision, you analyze every possible outcome until you become mentally exhausted. You replay conversations that have already ended. You worry about situations that have not happened. You search for certainty in a world where certainty rarely exists. The more you overthink, the less energy you have for meaningful action. Progress belongs to those who are willing to act despite uncertainty, knowing that clarity often comes after movement rather than before it. Emotional control is another essential part of mastering your mind. Life will always present situations that test your patience. Someone may criticize you unfairly. A plan may fail despite your best efforts. You may experience rejection, disappointment, or unexpected setbacks. These moments cannot always be prevented, but your response to them is always within your control. A single emotional reaction can damage relationships, destroy opportunities, or create regret that lasts for years. Learning to pause before reacting gives your wisdom enough time to speak louder than your emotions. One powerful habit is observing your thoughts without immediately believing them. Every thought that enters your mind is not necessarily true. Some thoughts are influenced by fear. Others come from past experiences or temporary emotions. Instead of identifying with every thought, learn to watch them like clouds passing across the sky. A fearful thought does not mean danger is real. A doubtful thought does not mean you are incapable. An angry thought does not mean you must act on it. The moment you realize that you can observe your thoughts, instead of becoming trapped inside them, you begin to experience genuine inner freedom. Silence plays an important role in strengthening the mind. Modern life constantly demands your attention. Notifications, opinions, news, entertainment, and endless conversations leave little room for reflection. A busy mind rarely hears its own wisdom because it is overwhelmed by noise. Spending even a few moments each day in complete silence allows your thoughts to settle. Just as muddy water becomes clear when left undisturbed, the mind becomes clearer when it is no longer constantly stimulated. In that quiet space, better decisions become easier to recognize. Gratitude also transforms the way your mind interprets life. When you focus only on what is missing, dissatisfaction becomes your daily companion. You begin comparing yourself with others and believing that happiness always exists somewhere else. Gratitude shifts your attention toward what is already present. It reminds you that progress is possible because you already possess strengths, opportunities, and lessons that many people overlook. This mindset does not ignore challenges, but it prevents challenges from becoming the only thing you see. Mastering your mind also means protecting it from unnecessary negativity. The information you consume each day shapes your thinking more than you may realize. Constant exposure to conflict, gossip, outrage, and fear slowly influences your emotional state. Your mind absorbs what you repeatedly feed it. Choose books that expand your perspective, conversations that encourage growth, and environments that inspire peace rather than chaos. When your thoughts become calmer, when your decisions become wiser. When your decisions become wiser, your actions become more effective. A disciplined mind is not one that never experiences negative thoughts, but one that refuses to let those thoughts determine the direction of its life. Your health is the foundation that supports every dream, every goal, and every responsibility you carry. Before 2027 arrives, improving your physical well-being should become one of your highest priorities because without health, even the greatest opportunities become difficult to enjoy. Many people focus on building wealth status or success while neglecting the body that makes those achievements possible. They work long hours, ignore rest, eat without awareness, and believe they will take care of themselves later. The problem is that later often arrives with exhaustion, stress, and illnesses that could have been prevented through small daily choices. A strong body is not simply about appearance. It is about creating the energy, resilience, and stability needed to live your life with purpose. Your body reflects your habits more honestly than your words ever will. You cannot convince your body to become stronger through good intentions alone. It responds only to consistent action. Every healthy meal, every workout, every glass of water, and every hour of quality sleep becomes an investment in your future. At first, these choices may seem small and insignificant, but they accumulate over time. Just as unhealthy habits quietly weaken the body day after day, healthy habits quietly rebuild it. The difference may not be noticeable after 1 week, but after months and years, the results become impossible to ignore. One of the greatest mistakes people make is believing they need extreme routines to become healthier. They think success requires spending hours in the gym or following complicated diets. In reality, lasting improvement often begins with simple actions, repeated consistently. Walking every day is better than remaining inactive while waiting for the perfect exercise plan. Choosing whole foods more often than processed meals creates steady progress. Drinking enough water supports nearly every function of the body. These simple habits may not seem exciting, but they create powerful long-term results because consistency always outperforms occasional intensity. Sleep is another area that many people underestimate. In a world that glorifies being busy, rest is often treated as weakness. Yet your body repairs itself while you sleep. Your brain organizes memories, restores mental clarity, and prepares you for another day of learning and decision-making. Poor sleep affects your focus, patience, emotional balance, and physical performance. You may think you are saving time by sleeping less, but in reality, you are reducing the quality of every waking hour. Protecting your sleep is not laziness. It is a form of discipline that strengthens every other area of your life. Nutrition is not about strict restriction or constant guilt. It is about giving your body the fuel it needs to perform at its best. Every meal becomes a choice between nourishing your future or satisfying a temporary craving. This does not mean perfection is required. Occasional indulgence is part of life, but making unhealthy choices your daily habit slowly weakens your body and your mind. Food influences your energy, concentration, mood, and overall well-being. When you consistently choose foods that support your health, you create a stronger foundation for every challenge you face. Movement is equally important because the human body was designed to be active. Long hours of sitting, constant screen time, and a lack of physical activity gradually reduce strength, flexibility, and endurance. Exercise is not only about building muscles, it improves circulation, supports heart health, reduces stress, and increases mental clarity. Even a short daily walk can improve your mood and remind your body that it was created to move. Physical activity also teaches persistence, because every workout is a reminder that progress comes through repeated effort rather than instant results. Your health is closely connected to your mental and emotional state. Chronic stress, unresolved anger, and constant anxiety eventually affect the body. A peaceful mind contributes to a healthier body, just as a healthy body supports a calmer mind. Taking time to breathe deeply, spend time in nature, practice gratitude, or simply disconnect from constant stimulation allows your nervous system to recover. Balance is essential because health is not achieved through exercise alone. It requires caring for both the body and the mind with equal attention. Improving your health before 2027 is not about chasing perfection or comparing yourself with others. It is about becoming someone who respects the body that carries you through every experience in life. Every healthy decision is an act of self-respect. Every positive habit strengthens your future. The energy you build today will help you overcome tomorrow's challenges with greater confidence, sharper focus, stronger endurance, and a deeper appreciation for the life you have been given. Time is the one resource every person receives in equal measure, yet it produces completely different results depending on how it is used. Before 2027 arrives, improving the way you manage your time and protect your focus may be one of the most valuable decisions you ever make. You can earn more money, recover from mistakes, and rebuild after failure, but you can never recover a single hour that has already passed. Every minute spent without intention quietly shapes your future. Whether you become stronger, wiser, or more successful depends less on how much time you have and more on how carefully you use it. Many people believe they are too busy to make progress, but being busy and being productive are not the same thing. A day can be filled with activity while accomplishing very little that truly matters. Constant notifications, endless meetings, social media, and unnecessary distractions create the illusion of movement, while keeping you far from meaningful progress. The challenge is not finding more hours in the day. The challenge is deciding what deserves your attention and having the discipline to protect it from everything that does not. Focus has become one of the rarest qualities in the modern world. Every device competes for your attention. Every notification invites you to interrupt your work. Every moment of boredom tempts you to reach for your phone instead of staying present. Over time, this constant switching weakens your ability to concentrate deeply. Your mind becomes accustomed to short bursts of stimulation instead of sustained effort. As a result, even simple tasks begin to feel difficult because your attention has been divided into countless small pieces. Rebuilding your focus requires making intentional choices about where your attention goes each day. One of the most effective ways to improve your focus is to begin your day with purpose instead of reaction. Many people wake up and immediately check messages, emails, or social media. Before they have even organized their own thoughts, they are already responding to the demands of others. This habit places your priorities behind everyone else's. Instead, begin the day by identifying the one or two tasks that will create the greatest impact. Complete those important responsibilities before allowing less meaningful distractions to fill your schedule. A focused morning often creates a productive day. Learning to say no is another essential part of protecting your time. Every commitment you accept requires time, energy, and attention. If you say yes to everything, you eventually discover that you have no time left for your own goals. Saying no is not about rejecting people. It is about respecting your priorities. Every unnecessary obligation you decline creates space for something that truly matters. Strong boundaries protect not only your schedule, but also your peace of mind and your ability to remain committed to your long-term vision. Procrastination is one of the greatest enemies of progress. It often disguises itself as preparation. You tell yourself that you will begin after you feel more confident, after conditions improve, or after you learn one more thing. Meanwhile, valuable days continue to disappear. Waiting for the perfect moment is one of the easiest ways to postpone your own success. The perfect moment rarely arrives. Progress belongs to those who begin before they feel completely ready. Action creates momentum, and momentum makes difficult tasks easier to continue. Your environment also influences your ability to focus. A cluttered workspace often creates a cluttered mind. Constant noise makes deep thinking more difficult. People who frequently interrupt your work reduce the quality of your attention. Creating an environment that supports concentration allows your mind to perform at its best. Even simple changes, such as keeping your workspace organized, silencing unnecessary notifications, or setting specific periods for uninterrupted work, can dramatically improve the quality of your focus over time. Time management is not about filling every minute with work. Rest is also a productive investment when it is intentional. A tired mind makes poor decisions, loses creativity, and struggles to maintain discipline. Taking short breaks, getting enough sleep, and allowing yourself moments of reflection help restore your energy and sharpen your thinking. The goal is not to remain busy every second of the day, but to use your time with awareness. Balance creates sustainability, and sustainable habits produce lasting results. Every day offers a new opportunity to decide what kind of future you are building. The hours you spend today become the foundation of the life you will experience tomorrow. When you protect your time, eliminate unnecessary distractions, and direct your full attention toward meaningful work, you begin to accomplish more with less stress. A focused mind sees opportunities that distracted minds overlook, makes wiser decisions, develops valuable skills, and steadily moves closer to goals that once seemed distant. The people you spend the most time with have a greater influence on your life than you may realize. Before 2027 arrives, take a close look at the relationships and environments that surround you every day. They quietly shape your thoughts, habits, expectations, and even your identity. Human beings naturally adapt to their surroundings. If you constantly hear negativity, complaints, and excuses, those patterns slowly become part of your own thinking. If you are surrounded by people who value discipline, responsibility, and growth, you begin to adopt those qualities without even noticing. Your environment is always teaching you something, whether it is helping you move forward or quietly holding you back. Many people hesitate to evaluate their relationships honestly because they fear hurting others or being judged. However, choosing healthier relationships does not mean believing you are better than anyone else. It simply means recognizing that your future deserves protection. Not everyone who enters your life is meant to stay forever. Some people are companions for a season, while others remain for a lifetime. Wisdom comes from knowing the difference. Holding on to relationships that constantly drain your energy, discourage your goals, or encourage unhealthy habits can prevent you from becoming the person you are capable of becoming. Pay attention to how you feel after spending time with certain people. Do you leave conversations feeling inspired, encouraged, and motivated to improve? Or do you leave feeling exhausted, discouraged, and filled with doubt? The answer reveals more than you might think. Healthy relationships challenge you to grow while still respecting who you are. They celebrate your progress instead of becoming uncomfortable with your success. They offer honest advice instead of constant criticism. They encourage responsibility rather than making excuses. These are the kinds of people who quietly strengthen your character over time. Negative influences are not always obvious. Some people never openly tell you to give up, but they repeatedly question your dreams, laugh at your ambitions, or convince you that aiming higher is unrealistic. Over time, those comments begin to shape your confidence. You may start lowering your standards simply to fit in or avoid criticism. This is why protecting your environment is not an act of selfishness. It is an act of wisdom. The voices you hear most often eventually become the voice inside your own mind. Choose carefully whose opinions deserve space in your thinking. Your environment extends beyond the people around you. It also includes the information you consume, the places you spend your time, and the routines you repeat each day. If your daily routine is filled with endless entertainment, meaningless distractions, and constant noise, your mind will struggle to develop focus and clarity. On the other hand, if you create an environment filled with books, meaningful conversations, learning opportunities, and moments of silence, you naturally begin thinking differently. Growth becomes easier when your surroundings support the person you are trying to become, instead of pulling you back toward old habits. Learning to create healthy boundaries is another important part of improving your relationships. Boundaries are not walls built to keep people out. They are guidelines that protect your peace, your values, and your time. You do not need to attend every gathering, join every argument, or solve every person's problems. It is acceptable to protect your energy so you can continue growing. Some people may misunderstand your boundaries because they were comfortable with unlimited access to your attention. Staying respectful while remaining firm is a sign of emotional maturity, not selfishness. At the same time, becoming a better person means becoming the kind of friend, family member, and colleague who brings value to others. Instead of asking what you can receive from your relationships, ask what you can contribute. Listen carefully. Speak honestly. Keep your promises. Encourage others without expecting recognition. Be reliable when people need support. Strong relationships are built on trust, consistency, and mutual respect. The qualities you hope to find in others should first become qualities that you develop within yourself. Growth also requires the courage to spend time alone when necessary. Many people remain surrounded by unhealthy influences because they fear loneliness. They would rather stay in familiar company than face temporary solitude. Yet there is a significant difference between being alone and being lonely. Time spent alone can become an opportunity for reflection, learning, healing, and personal development. It allows you to understand yourself without the constant influence of other people's opinions. When you become comfortable in your own company, you are less likely to settle for relationships that diminish your peace or distract you from your purpose. You begin choosing connections based on shared values, mutual respect, and genuine encouragement rather than convenience, habit, or fear of being by yourself. Character is the one quality that remains when everything else changes. Before 2027 arrives, make it your priority to strengthen the person you are on the inside rather than focusing only on what others can see. Success, money, recognition, and influence may open doors, but character determines whether you can stay in those rooms with respect and integrity. Many people spend years trying to improve their appearance, build impressive careers, or gain the approval of others while neglecting the qualities that truly define them. In the end, people are remembered less for what they owned and more for how they treated others, how they handled difficulties, and whether their actions match their words. Integrity is one of the strongest pillars of good character. It means doing what is right even when no one is watching and when there is nothing to gain. It is easy to be honest when honesty is convenient. The real test comes when telling the truth requires courage or when keeping your promise demands sacrifice. Every time you choose integrity over convenience, you strengthen your self-respect. You no longer depend on the opinions of others because you know your actions are aligned with your values. A person with integrity earns trust slowly through consistent behavior, and that trust becomes more valuable than any temporary reward. Humility is another quality that deserves constant attention. Many people mistake humility for weakness, but true humility is a sign of quiet confidence. It allows you to admit when you are wrong, learn from others regardless of their status, and continue growing without believing you already know everything. Pride often closes the door to improvement because it convinces people that they have nothing left to learn. Humility keeps the mind open. It reminds you that every experience, every challenge, and every person has something valuable to teach if you are willing to listen carefully. Patience is becoming increasingly rare in a world that celebrates instant results. People want success overnight, recognition without effort, and rewards without consistent work. Strong character understands that meaningful achievements take time. A tree does not become tall in a single season, and a skilled person is not created after a few days of practice. Patience allows you to continue working even when progress seems invisible. It helps you remain calm when circumstances do not unfold according to your plans. Instead of becoming frustrated by delays, you learn to trust the value of steady effort and continuous improvement. Responsibility is another defining trait of strong character. It means accepting ownership of your choices instead of searching for someone else to blame. Life will not always be fair, and unexpected difficulties will arise, but your response to those situations is always your responsibility. People with strong character ask themselves what they can learn from a setback rather than spending all their energy complaining about it. They recognize that blaming others may protect the ego for a moment, but it never creates lasting growth. Personal responsibility gives you the power to change because it places your future back into your own hands. Kindness is often underestimated because it appears simple, yet it requires great inner strength. Being kind does not mean allowing others to take advantage of you. It means treating people with respect, even when you disagree with them. It means choosing compassion over cruelty and understanding over unnecessary judgment. Every person you meet is carrying struggles that may not be visible. A thoughtful word, a patient response, or a small act of generosity can have a lasting impact that you may never fully realize. Character is revealed not only by how you treat important people, but also by how you treat those who can offer you nothing in return. Courage is also an essential part of developing strong character. Courage is not the absence of fear, but the willingness to act despite it. Sometimes courage means speaking the truth when remaining silent would be easier. Other times it means admitting a mistake, asking for forgiveness, or making a difficult decision that aligns with your values instead of seeking approval. Every act of courage strengthens your ability to face future challenges with confidence. Avoiding difficult situations may provide temporary comfort, but facing them with honesty builds lasting inner strength. A person with strong character also understands the importance of lifelong learning. Growth does not stop when you achieve a goal or reach a certain age. Every new experience offers an opportunity to become wiser, more patient, and more understanding. Instead of allowing success to create arrogance, strong character uses success as a reminder to remain grateful and continue improving. Before 2027, focus on becoming someone whose words carry weight, because they are supported by consistent actions, whose presence brings peace instead of conflict, whose decisions are guided by values instead of emotions, and whose life reflects honesty, discipline, humility, responsibility, and unwavering respect for both themselves and the people around them. Start now. Improve one habit today, then another tomorrow. One disciplined choice at a time, one quiet victory after another. Because the person you become before 2027 will determine the life you live long after it begins.